All right, good evening or good night. We're about to begin our 7 p.m. session of Know Your Engine. I would like to welcome everyone on YouTube and all the people who are here with us on Zoom. I'd like to special welcome to Dr. Chambers and her team, which will be joining us for this session of Know Your Engine. All right, so before we begin, start it like how I started the last session. I have a giveaway. This giveaway is for all the people using Flow. So here's a Flow credit. Somebody hear me? Hello? Can somebody just indicate if they can hear me?
Yes.
All right, thank you very much. Okay, so back to the giveaway for Flow credit. 82191609049436. Say that again, 82191609049436. All right, hopefully somebody won that Flow credit. All right, so this Know Your Engine event is to inform people and let you get to know the people who are representing you in your engine. I'm not seeing my videos. I'm not sure if I'm showing or not. Let's continue.
On the screen.
Pardon me?
You and your PowerPoint is showing on the screen.
All right, thank you very much. Yes, so the Know Your Engine event. All right, so let's get to inform you and to teach you about this morning in the session we had the different council members and them introducing themselves and stating their roles and responsibilities. The council members are to say their names, what year they're in, what they're studying, and what their role is on the council and how that affects the student body. So we'll have some more council members. But before, on the screen now, we're supposed to have the vision statement and the mission statement of the School of Engineering Executive Council. You can take some time, excuse me, and just read through that to see how we plan on helping you and making sure that you, the student body, the engineering student body, gets the best service during these times because although things may not be as normal, we are still committed to serving you and helping you to excel in your educational journey. All right, thank you very much. All right, so now we'll be moving on to a few of our council members who we didn't have this morning. So first, I'd like to ask our Vice President. Oh, sorry about that. Yes, our Vice President of Academic Affairs, Miss Smith. Just come on and introduce yourself quickly to the student body.
Hi, good night, everyone. I am Sharika Smith, a first-year civil engineering student. I'm the Vice President of Academic Affairs for the Student Council for the School of Engineering. And what this means is that I'm responsible for addressing all academically related issues, overseeing the Engineering Student Support Unit, and hosting webinars for students and study sessions. One fun fact about me is that even though I am an aspiring engineer, I am very interested in medicine, particularly in the field of gene therapy. Thank you.
You're muted, Canute.
Oh, thank you for that. Sorry. All right, so I was saying she just stated one fun fact, which is something I forgot to state earlier. Each council member is required to state at least one fun fact about themselves so that people can relate to you more and see us as more human and more relatable. All right, so I'll move on to the next person or Executive Secretary, Miss Cooper. I'd like to introduce yourself quickly.
Hello, good evening, everyone. My name
Good evening.
is Khadisha Cooper, and as stated by Mr. Clark, I'm the Executive Secretary for the School of Engineering's Representative Council for the academic year 2020-21. I am a second year civil engineering student. The reason I chose civil engineering is because I'd like to pursue coastal and environmental engineering in the future. Um, as the executive secretary, I am in charge of all administrative works within the council. I schedule meetings. I also ensure that the operations within the office during school hours is run smoothly. Um, how does that really affect you as students? It's a small role in my opinion, but I believe that um, it is very impactful, as you know, without the upkeeping of the office where students, you know, you come to buy a bun and cheese or you come to make your queries, right? Um, all that wouldn't be possible if it wasn't being manned properly, right? Something interesting about me, I recently have developed a growing affinity for agriculture, um, and that has led me to do more work in my backyard garden. I have some watermelon and cantaloupe coming up, right? I'm so excited about it. I'm also a budding entrepreneur, so I have a clothing business that I will be launching, hopefully, God's willing, by the end of the month. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much for that. If you have any Instagram account for that clothing business or anything like that you'd like us to state right here, right now, just quickly do so. But if not,
Okay, so you can find me on Instagram at Zion_threads, right? And on Facebook, it is ZThreads4.
all right. I hope everybody heard that. That is Zion_threads on Instagram. Didn't catch that Facebook name. Hmm? Hmm?
ZThreads4.
All right, Z threads 4. All right, thank you very much. All right, and that is our lovely secretary, Miss Cooper. At this moment, we'll have the director of mentorship.
All right, so good night, everybody. My name is Catherine Barron, and I'm one of the directors of mentorship for the academic year 2020-2021. I'm a second year chemical engineering student, and I'm from St. Catherine. One fun fact about me, well, it's not really fun, but I'm just going to share it. I love music, and I'm always listening to music, to the point where my father said I don't do anything if I'm not listening to music, but I just don't study with music. So hopefully in the future, I'll find the music that works for me when I'm studying. So before I get into the roles and responsibilities of my committee, I'd like to share a very short but impactful quote. In learning, you will teach, and in teaching, you will learn. Phil Collins. The reason why I chose to share this quote at this time is because I feel like a lot of students feel like they probably have to be the perfect student to be a mentor or to be a tutor. But I personally don't think this is the case. Of course, you have to have some potential, but I think it is more about your willingness than being perfect. All right, some of our roles and responsibilities include, but are not limited to, the tutorship program, the mentorship program, the first year experience. We also aim to launch a communication system next month, in which students will be able to communicate with us about any suggestions they have, any feedback, recommendations. We also strive to raise awareness about certain issues such as malnutrition and mental health. And next month is actually World Mental Health Day, and the mentorship committee will be doing a campaign about that. Lastly, we aim to motivate not just students who are a part of our mentorship program, but just the general engineering body. What do I mean by this? It means that we will be doing campaigns, sharing tips, tricks, strategies about studying, how to manage your time, probably some tricks you never heard of before. Yeah. All right, so thank you for listening to me, and I just want to take this opportunity to wish everybody a very successful and productive academic year and semester, despite what COVID has done. And remember, you don't have to be a perfect student, you just need to be a willing one. Good night.
All right, thank you for that very much. Two powerful quotes there. Okay, so now we will be moving on next to our, let's see here, Director of Spiritual Development, Mr. Smith.
Yes, hello. Can everybody hear me?
Yes, we're hearing you fine, Mr. Smith.
All right. Good night again, everyone. So, my
And good
name
night.
is David Smith, and I am the Director of Spiritual Development. I am in my second year doing a bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering. So, my portfolio governs the spiritual development aspect, and our initiative is aimed at the holistic development of students within the School of Engineering. So, we believe in physical well-being. We believe in academic advancements, but we believe that there is a balance, and that is through spiritual well-being. I believe that we all exist because of God, and our purpose is derived from God, and therefore we cannot be complete as individuals without a personal knowing of this God. So this portfolio is aimed to do a few things, and that includes hosting midday devotions. We'll have our first one, I believe, next week. Publishing scriptural messages. I'm sure some of you might have seen scriptural messages going out in the various student year groups, and host spiritual events. So my first event was Raise the Praise. That was last week, Thursday. I hope that you were there and that you enjoyed that experience. So, something interesting about me. So, I am a very patriotic person. I really love my country, Jamaica. And if someone had offered me $1 billion and a passport to live anywhere, I would want to move from my little island, Jamaica. I know that we have violence and we have employment problems. And so my dream and my aspiration is to become the first Jamaican automotive manufacturing company builder. I want to build an automotive manufacturing company in Jamaica on Jamaican soil, which will provide employment for Jamaican people and help in economic development. And that's about it for me. All right, good night, everybody, and stay safe.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. David Smith. Wants to really live on that theme that says build Jamaica so we can buy Jamaica, and he wants to expand that into the automotive industry. I like that. I like that a lot. All right. So now we'll be moving on to the main reason for this session, as we came here to meet our different heads of school, the head of school and the different heads of department in our School of Engineering. So at this moment, I'd like to welcome Dr. Chambers. Dr. Chambers.
Yes, I'm here. Good
All
evening. Thank
right.
you for inviting me, Mr. Clark. Good evening to your directors, and good evening to everyone who is watching us on the YouTube live stream. All right, I'm Therese Chambers, as I was introduced, and with me this evening are two program directors from the School of Engineering. That's Dr. Bramwell and Mr. Percival Stewart. I'll ask them to introduce themselves. However, let me just apologize to you about the absence of the other program directors. Dr. Earl Wilson is in an overseas meeting right now. He's in Jamaica in an overseas meeting. Dr. Campbell, Dr. Richardson, and Dr. Graham, I suspect that they're still wrapping up their classes, still in class, so they're unable to join. But you have the three of us, and you can ask us. We are here. You can ask us questions that you have answered. All right?
Okay, Dr. Chambers, thank you, and we welcome you to the event.
Thank you.
All right.
I'll ask Mr. Stewart to go next, if you don't mind.
Ladies before gentlemen, so Lisa Bramwell, Dr. Bramwell, fire away.
Unmute Dr. Bramwell.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure to actually meet you all here formally. In light of the fact everything is virtual, I think it's a very good idea that we had this opportunity to actually see each other and hear what our portfolios are about. So, well done. As Dr. Chambers indicated, I am the program director for the Chemical, Agricultural, and Biological Engineering Department. It's very pleasing to see that one of our students is actually on the executive committee. Well done. And we're a small department.
It's pleasing for me too.
It's
pleasing for me too. I'm a second year civil student.
Remember, you said I must go first, eh?
All right. Okay.
All right, so we're a small department. I think we are a tight-knit group. We do have year group reps for each year group. We also have email contacts for each year group. We have WhatsApp groups for each year group. And we have year reps who, really work hard to make sure everybody is connected within chemical engineering. In fact, today they organized a meeting for their major project topics to be disseminated throughout the group. And so another pleasing or fun fact, I am a winter sports fanatic. I love figure skating.
I thought you played.
I like anything to do with diving, gymnastics, sports nut, but there's some things I will not watch. As in the past, like I will not stay up as I used to at 2 o'clock in the morning to watch West Indies cricket. My heart cannot manage these things. So hence at the airport, that is it for now.
All right, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Dr. Bramwell. Mr. Stewart, sir?
Yeah, I guess there's no more female for me to escape, eh?
Yeah,
okay.
Looks like it's your turn.
Right. I am Percy Stewart, the program director for the Civil Engineering Department. Kudos to my lady and your executive who is second year student in civil. We are all over because civil is splashed all over the globe, right? It's such a multifaceted profession. But guess why I go there now? I noticed the topic, the branding, and I noticed my civil student, she branched off into fashion, and she likes the agriculture, all like everything. What I want to say, the student, and this is my particular interest why I come to accept your invite actually, is I've been having students over there, the final year going out, and they complete civil engineering. But what is lacking is all the other avenues of businesses within the civil engineering sector. They're not trying to focus. What I do, I get them in a fourth year in a program that we call heavy construction, and that's where I say to them, okay, civil engineering as it is, designing, building roads, bridges, the works, and other things towards any structure. That's what civil structure can do, any. So I was saying to them, what if you go out there and that job is not available and they are asking me the what if? So when I open up the world of plumbing, today in Jamaica, plumbing contractors are some wealthy guys. I saw a plumbing contract on a 10-story apartment, and you would believe the sum that I am speaking. So when I open this, them say work. And that's what I want all you young people to do. Look at the profession you come in and look at all the subsidiary, because it's all about working and making money. You might not work as the mechanical engineer, the one that designed the turbine. But guess what? You could be the one that maintain all persons who buy turbines, as well as you're the one who could maintain the electrical supply from the turbines. So you see why I'm breaking it down? Start thinking
Yes,
that
sir.
way. Take your team and look at the profession and break it out. Because we live in one world. And it's all the pieces come together in that puzzle that make the engineering that you are doing. Yes, I don't speak about my hobby or anything now in the introduction. I do cinematography and photography. And I think I'm a trained cinematographer, but it never paid the bill. And my father had said to us, all his children, he said to us that whatever you do, make sure you can open your shop. Cinematography, what could afford me to open shop? Civil engineering does. You can have your consultancy, you can have multiple things doing with it. I encourage you, youngster, to seize the opportunity. This is the thing that we are on computer doing this thing. It's a world of stuff. I have a nephew, and he asked me to just come in into a meeting. I said, what's the meeting? He was speaking to people in Wales and Australia. So him boss and him uncle is a civil engineer. I got a lot of questions,
Some
civil
difficulties there.
engineering. That's what it
Mr.
is.
Stewart.
Anyway, I got my intro now and wish you all well.
Okay. All right. Sorry about this, but I think if you can repeat that last part because you chipped out there for a second.
Which the last part of what? What I was saying?
Yes, because
No,
you
I
chipped
said
out
this
for a second.
medium. I'm saying this
Yes.
medium, which we call this internet thingy, is so vast and it's moving fast. I have a nephew, right? And he actually is in Canada. And he was dealing with some people and some issue for his company. And he could
Yeah.
patch me in. And I was talking to an engineer in Australia and a girl in Wales. But the girl apparently constantly traveled. And it was on some antenna base, some support base. And he just said, listen, I have a consultant
Okay.
engineer, my uncle. He never paid me, that's the sad thing. And they were getting money. But look at that now. So all of you are engineers, all of you are international people thanks to this medium. Good luck and take it serious.
All right. Thank you
Over.
very much, sir.
You're
Yes,
welcome.
you raised some very good points there, stating that as engineers, we're not supposed to focus only on the hard and fast career paths of becoming a civil engineer or going into construction, but to look at the different avenues that we can take. And like one of the director, I think it was our secretary that stated, she's now having an interest in agriculture. So we could branch off into the different sections of engineering, the other small applications, and use them. Because as you stated, we are here to learn, but we're also here to learn how to make money. So yes, we are. We must take full advantage of the opportunities we have in front of us.
And I want to add, to break this cycle, there's an old cycle that say 1/3 of the class employ 2/3 of the class. Make it now be 2/3 of the class employ 1/3. Please, Jamaican student, right?
Okay, so yes, thank you for that. Yes, we need to have that shift, that radical shift, to have Jamaica moving in a different direction. All right, so thank you for all your introductions. It was very helpful. I liked Dr. Bramwell's introduction where she said chemical was a tight knit community, very small and tight knit community. I'm not sure if it's that small because I myself am an industrial engineer and I'm pretty sure my community is smaller, but we'll just leave it as that because my director, well, the head of industrial engineering is not here to defend it, so I can't press on into that as I'd like to. Okay, from our head of school, Dr. Chambers, I would like to hear a little more, a little clarification about how this first semester, this online semester is going to work and if it well, people are having challenges, and how does the School of Engineering plan to like help smooth those out and allow for the semester to run smoothly? As this is new to all of us, and as we know it is new to you as well, are the plans to help us better function?
All right, thank you for that question. We have recognized from the lockdown started from we ended face to face, I should say, in March, that we would have challenges, and we did learn at the end of semester 2 some of the issues that would arise and have arisen. And we have tried to make ourselves a little bit more prepared, but everything comes with time. Now, what we have done, it's funny. At the last faculty board meeting that we had a few weeks ago, I had to report, well, each meeting I have to report on the strategic plan, the implementation of the strategic plan of the faculty. And one of the points or one of the objectives on our strategic plan is to have within 5 years, the 5-year period that we're looking at, which ends 2022, we must have 20% of our modules being run by a blended modality. Now, I was happy and not so happy to report that we have 100% of our modules running using the blended modality. We have overachieved, all because of COVID-19. Now, what we have put in place, there are a number of platforms that we are using to accommodate the teaching part of our module. And we are using, well, the university has made available Moodle. That is the formal method that the university is using. So I know there are some of your constituents, the students, who don't know where to go, don't know how to get in touch with their lecturers. The first place to go is Moodle. What we have done is created in Moodle a link to all the modules offered in the School of Engineering in Moodle. That should be, well, most of it is up now. That should be up in its entirety within another couple of days, by Wednesday, I think. And that will offer a link to the other platforms being used by the other lecturers. Those who don't use Moodle, there will be a link to them. For the modules that are on Moodle, this is where you go and you access your course material, and you also have the link to the video, the streaming platforms that the other lecturers use. Some lecturers use Zoom, some use Blackboard Collaborate, and some use Meet in Google. Now, the School of Engineering on a whole decided to utilize G Suite, which is a Google-based platform, to offer the majority of the modules. So we use Classroom, that is found in G Suite, and we use Meet for our face-to-face sessions. Now, for students to access G Suite, just as with Moodle, you must have paid your ECF, and you also must have an activated UTech students account. Now, I think unlike Moodle, students may be having some issues with G Suite because they allow the activation link or the reset link to expire. These links are in your UTech email. They expire after 48 hours. So if students do not go and activate or reset their emails, then they're going to have to contact myself or Dr. Paul Campbell to get their access reactivated. Now, as soon as I get the emails, I handle them up to about 8, 9 p.m. at night. And I go through and I reset persons. Now, these links go straight to their UTech email. So once you are trying to get into G Suite and you have made a request to have your account activated or reset, you keep checking, all right? I generally get to it within a day. It is a little bit faster now because the requests are a little bit, are a lot less, I should say, because most persons have settled in. Now, outside of that, there are other lecturers who are more comfortable for one reason or another to use other platforms, which include Canvas. I know for the first year students, all of you will be speaking with Mr. Senior in Canvas. And there are other lecturers who use Schoology. Okay, that's how it's pronounced, Schoology, yes. But
Schoology.
all of that information can still be found in Moodle. I did share with Mr. McFarlane a spreadsheet with how you can contact each of the lecturers, and even if the lecturer, the module access is not there, the email addresses for all lecturers is there. So you can contact your lecturers directly and they will be able to give you access. Now, I know that census is on September 30, so I encourage persons to sort out their finances to get that 30% paid. Now, so that should cover how you contact us. Now, outside of that, we now also have to think about how are you going to be assessed. But even before I get to the assessment, let me talk about the labs for a little bit, because this is very important. And Mr. Clark, you mustn't get me started in talking, you know. I don't know if you didn't notice that my introduction was very short, because when I get started talking, I don't stop. Ask for PDs. Now let's talk about the labs. All right. Now, most of the labs, well, I shouldn't even say most, some of the labs we're able to handle online because we're using software. I know for AutoCAD and some of the industrial engineering and civil labs can be done online because AutoCAD has made available across the board to everybody in the world their facility free online for 1 year. Okay, to access that, you must have your university credentials that they do verify. Okay, I know because I tried it and I have access to all of the AutoCAD software. Outside of that, we are in the process of purchasing the campus-wide online version of MATLAB. So students will be able to access MATLAB online very soon. It is outside of our hands now. It's just a matter of getting the payments completed and the installation done. So that will make life very easy for all of you students. I know the first years directly will be using MATLAB, and everybody else in the School of Engineering should be using MATLAB, because as I like to say to my students, there is never any reason a student should submit any work and not be 100% certain that they have done their calculations or simulations accurately, because everything in engineering can be simulated in MATLAB. Every single thing. MATLAB has a toolbox for every single thing. Right now, on campus, we have 10 toolboxes, but with the online license, we will have 90 toolboxes and about another 20 apps. So there is no excuse, or there will be no excuse any engineering student should have for submitting incorrect simulations or calculations. Okay, now that's for the coursework, but for your final exams or for your final assessments, what we will be doing is running these for the most part online. There may be some that will be held face-to-face that the school examination center will be organizing. But for the most part, they'll be run online. And unlike semester 2 or the summer session that just ended, we will be a little bit more strict. We have learned All right, so we will be very careful with our assessments, because what we are trying to do, or our aim is to ensure that we are graduating engineers. We don't want to graduate people who passed exams. And understand what I mean when I say that. We are graduating engineers. Again, any of my students will tell you that a medical doctor does harm to one person at a time. An engineer will kill a whole community in one single mistake. So we don't want that. So when we assess you, what we are assessing is your ability to problem solve and to be engineers. We don't want mistakes. None of us want mistakes in our background. Mr. Stewart is a civil engineer, and I remember some years ago, I think I may have said this before, you may have heard it before. I was in Singapore some years before, and one of the things that they told us, I was there on a training course, a CAD/CAM training course. Yes, I do CAD/CAM as well. I'm an electrical engineer, but I know a little bit about CAD/CAM. Know a little bit about G codes and programming, but anyway, programming G codes. But one of the things that they told us there, at how they tested bridges at that time, or structures at that time, they put all the engineers who were on the design team, and they would load that, they put them to stand beneath the structure, and they would load that structure to the maximum limit that they said their calculations would allow, that structure would allow. And if you weren't convinced that your structure would stand up, you wouldn't go under there. And if the structure fell down, guess what? No problem. It's your fault. We don't do that anymore.
That was in the old days. When they put you under the bridge, the army would train their guns at you so you can't run. The entire engineering team. Then they make the train move over it.
Yeah.
Because you design it for people. So the people not going to die, you going to die. So you're underneath it. If you run, the army has instruction to shoot, to kill. And you stay there because you are sure of what you decide.
So we really want persons, we really want to graduate engineers. And UTech is the university in Jamaica that is known for its engineers. All right. I had mentioned a little bit about labs, and there is one, my last point will be on the face-to-face labs. And I really do want us to take this seriously. All right. Now I'll start off with laboratory protocols. You must wear proper protective clothing. You must have your mask on. All right. You do not go in the lab without your mask. You must sanitize your station before and after. You must sanitize yourself. If you are not feeling well, even if it's a cold you suspect that you have, let your lecturer or your technologist know, and do not come to the lab. Do not come on campus, because we don't want you, one, to get more ill there, and we don't want you to make anybody else ill. Okay? And we all have to be careful. I know that some of your constituents have been traveling back from overseas. Please, I implore you all to respect the quarantine orders and take your 14 days. Stay at home. It doesn't matter that you have a lab tomorrow to do. No, you speak to your lecturer or your technologist and let them know that I can't come in because I just returned such and such a time and I have not fulfilled my 14 days quarantine. Please, I beg of you, and I don't beg. My son doesn't like me to beg. But I beg of you to do this for us. All right? And I will end there. I hope I answered your questions.
Sure, yes. Thank you very
Oh, one thing I didn't say, you had asked Dr. Bramwell and Mr. Stewart fun facts about themselves. I will tell you a fun fact about me. I have been at UTech since before all of you were born. I've been here very long. As a student as well. I
much.
started
This guy.
here, I did my diploma here, I did my undergraduate degree here. I left and I went overseas to do my MSc and my PhD, but I did my my teaching diploma, postgraduate diploma here as well. So I'm a proud product of the University of Technology. I am like all three of us who are here as academic staff, all three of us are professional engineers. So when we talk, it's not because we're just teachers. All of us practice and practiced and are still practicing engineers. All right, thank you. Can I
All
hear
right.
you, Mr. Clark? Okay,
You hearing me now?
yes.
All right. Thank you very much. Yes, I'd like to say thank you very much for what you've just said. It is very helpful indeed, and we as the student body also need to take responsibility for keeping ourselves safe. And like Dr. Chambers just said, we must try our best to secure
Mm.
will not
Mr.
be online, and some
Mhm.
labs will need to be done face to face. Are you hearing me? Okay.
Yes,
Yes, I
we're
think my
hearing.
Wi-Fi is kind of bugging. All right. Yes. So yes, so some labs will need to be done face to face, and we need to take all our precautions, do everything necessary to protect ourselves and to protect everybody else. All right. So before we end, I just have one more question for Dr. Chambers. A student today sent me this question, stating that, well, asking if there's a policy in place that all lectures or all classes are supposed to be recorded for online use.
Um, we request that lecturers record the classes. I do know that there may be an issue, particularly with G Suite. And I need to get the lecturers to handle that because what has been happening is that sometimes we go into the classes and students actually start the recording or who are give the permission to record. Now, what happens is that when that is done, it is the student who gets the recording and the lecturer has no access to it to share with the class. So we really, as students, please do not start the recording. Do not stop the recording. Do nothing with the recording. Just you can give verbal acknowledgement of the fact that the recording will begin.
Mhm. Okay.
All right, because if you start the recording as a student, if you start the recording, the lecturer will not have access to it and will not be able to share
To
it.
distribute. Oh, okay.
Okay. All right, Dr. Bramwell, see you have your hand
Okay.
raised.
Yeah. Yes. Good evening again. Just wanted to clarify something that was said. Oh, I'm in the process of becoming a PE as by a PERB. But yes, I have worked in the field prior to being here at UTech. Speaking of the issue with respect to access to classes, it should be known also that within chemical, there is a local database. So if you contact the program secretary as a chemical engineer and you want to know where the classes are, um, you can also find them there. All the issues that our head of school has told us about, with different. Some platforms are better than others. Some platforms give you more control than others, and that is partly the reason why you'll find that some persons use one platform as opposed to the other. But all the information has been provided for you to, to actually link up to the classes. And I hope that y'all, use the right channels to access same. And finally, just to reinforce the point that Dr. Chambers made about your, being safe. I'm speaking as a, an air pollution specialist with emphasis on particle transport indoors. What we need to remember is that the size of the aerosols generated when we breathe, when we speak, when we sigh, when we sing, when we shout, in just standing up there and can be, releasing a viral load. By wearing a mask, you are reducing the viral load that you could be subjected to. If you read the Gleaner today, Mr. Garth Rattray told of his experience with COVID-19, and he followed every single protocol, and he just doesn't know how he got it. But yet still he was sick for 5 days. And he was one of the fortunate ones because he's over 65 and he's also asthmatic. But what he can say is that with his issue, because he was so careful, apparently his viral load was very low. And that is what the mask will help you to do. Reduce the viral load, then you will reduce apparently the symptoms that you will have. Right? So try your best to remind each other to always wear your masks and wear them properly. It must be full coverage from your nose going all the way around to your mouth. And if you have, if you wear glasses, even better for you. But yes, please try to be safe. That's it.
All right, thank you very much, Dr. Bramwell. And she stated some very important facts. And according to an article, she said there is a high chance that if you protect yourself, the symptoms will be less. So everyone, just make sure we're protecting ourselves, we're wearing our masks, following all the protocols necessary to keep ourselves safe. Okay, I'd like to thank Dr. Chambers, Dr. Bramwell, and Mr. Stewart for coming here tonight, for coming onto our session. I knew there it was a stretch for them to come on and to be here tonight. But before they go, I'm sorry, I seem to be getting a question here on the Zoom. Yes. All right. So a question came in asking about persons who have not yet selected their modules and had their semester 2 modules removed. Can anyone speak on this as to why it is happening or how they should remedy the situation? Because I have had people contact me about similar events,
All right.
students of engineering.
All right. So the best thing for them to do, they can email me and email me the issue, ensure that their ID number is there and contact details. Now, if I know it's semester 2, I'm not saying that this is the case with this in particular individual, but there were students who had fees outstanding from semester 2. And if those fees were not paid, then those semester 2 modules would have been removed and they would not be able to select modules now. All right, so they need to clear those. I know, and this is a problem that we have experienced as a school, and that would have directly affected you. We finished semester 2, we published grades, and then there were some students, or we published the pass or fail, PRF. And then there were some students who were able to pay their fees after we did that. And then we would have to go back and enter these new grades if we were told. There were some cases where we did not know, and the student, you would have received your letter grade, and the student who paid their fees afterwards would not have received anything because we don't know that the students have paid unless we are told to go back and check our semester two student list. Now, we wouldn't do that right now because we would have ended semester two some time ago, and we would have ended semester three. So we wouldn't know. So even if you have paid your fees for semester two or semester three as a student, you must tell your lecturer so that your lecturer can enter the grade and then you can be progressed to semester one this academic year. Paying the fees is not just it. We have to be, as lecturers, we have to be told so that we can do what we need to do so that you can be progressed and move into this academic year. All right? Because
Yes, thank you for that.
if we don't know, we can't put in your grades.
Yeah, so it takes some initiative on the students' part.
Yes.
All
Yes,
right.
it does.
All right. Thank you for
But
that, Dr. Chambers.
that student really needs to email me so that I can see what is happening in his case, his or her case, can also let me know what modules they were so that we can check on that.
All right. Okay. Yeah, so I'm hoping that person is still on and listening, although this is supposed to be recording so they can hear it again. But that's an important issue because I've gotten questions like that as the director of branding. People have been messaging me, and thank you. I just want to thank you and also thank the person for bringing it up because I honestly forgot about that. All right, so then again, I'd like to go back to thanking Dr. Chambers and her team for coming here tonight. We appreciate all the information you've given us because we've gotten a lot of information you from Mr. Stewart talking about how we should be more diverse and understand that although we are here training to be a specific engineer, electrical, civil, that there are other jobs out there that we can get. And from Dr. Bramwell, who gave us a lot of information about how COVID-19, how it is spreading, and how that the things we can do to minimize our risk and to minimize our chances of being infected. Although she did say that from the article, the gentleman from the article said he followed all the protocols, but that yet still he got infected. But because of his following of the protocols, it helped him. And for Dr. Chambers, we thank you for all of your explanations because we know that it's been hard on you because you've been ahead of the team, leading and trying to make sure that everything runs smoothly. And we thank you because if it wasn't for you and your team working things out, I don't think we'd be able to work on this online platform. And we've been getting a lot of messages coming out from from the School of Engineering to help us to understand how to navigate this system. So thank you for your clarifications and for your time. Okay, so before we go,
You're welcome.
there's a hand raising. Would you like to just go ahead now and just introduce yourself?
Thank you.
Good night, guys.
Good night.
I must apologize. I came in late. I had several emergencies, still having them, but nonetheless, my name is Ashage Beach. I am a second year chemical engineering student, and I'm also the director of fundraising for the School of Engineering. I guess that's it for now.
Can you just state something interesting about yourself before you go?
Something interesting about myself is that I'm learning Spanish for engineering.
All right, thank you very much. Okay, thank you for that. To the Instagram page that is Engine Warlords on Instagram. Yeah, so the first person to send in the answer to that question will receive some credit. And also, we're also doing that any two people that join the committee mm, today or tomorrow, because the day is basically done. The next two people to join a committee on the School of Engineering will be getting a shout out from the School of Engineering. So if you join a committee, the first two people to join will get that shout out. Or you'll have to tell me when you joined. Yeah, so you'd have to, well, I'll get that information, try to get that information from the directors of the different committees. So when you join the committee, if you're the first two people to join a committee after this event, you'll be getting a shout out from the school.
No audio? No audio? Not hearing anything.
Not hearing either.
Or you're not hearing me? Okay, somebody can tell me at which point I cut off because my Wi-Fi seems to be giving.
I think the last thing we heard, you were talking about the shout out for the two people who would join one of the groups.
Oh, okay, thank you.
I think you were moving away from that now. Oh, he's gone again.
Yes, frozen again.
It's peak hours. That's why we need to just wrap up. Unfortunately, that's what's going to happen. In and out.
Hello, good night. Can anyone hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Mr. Lynch.
Okay, I'll just wrap up for him because he says to me earlier that his Wi-Fi is giving a little problem. So to add to or finish to the point where he was saying regarding the shout outs, the next two persons who join a committee and let Canute know via the Instagram or his WhatsApp, and then he will find out the proof whether they join or not. And they can't just join and then leave right after. They have to join and participate and stay throughout. They will win a shout out on the Instagram or the Twitter or both of them. That's just the basis of that. It looks like he's here, so if you could just quickly wrap up, then that would be good.
All right, Mr. Lynch, I'm back. Yeah, sorry about that. I'm having connectivity problems. Yeah. So I'd like to say thank you for everyone for coming out from the head of school and the different head of the departments to the different directors from the Council of the School of Engineering. Wish you all a good night and stay safe. Stay out of harm's way and continue to follow all the protocols. And I wish you all a good night. And this is where we end
Good night to
our
you all.
presentation. Yes, good night.
Have a very good night, everyone.
Good night, good night.
Bye.
Same to you.
Thank you.
Yes. Good night, and we thank you all